Hey guys, welcome. Guy here. Saturday night and the 49ers are wrapping up. Still 6 minutes from the end of their game with the Titans. But I got to tell you, this game was a continuation of several days of 49ers practice that heavily featured the B team, sometimes the C team. So I'm not waiting around any longer. After watching 3.5 quarters of football on Saturday afternoon, I'm ready to roll. Did watch quite a bit of Caleb Williams today. He looked really good. Watched some of Michael Penix. He looked pretty good. Caleb Williams looked excellent. But that's not what I'm here to start with. I said 5 in the headline, but I came up with another one. 6 big takeaways from the game. Not a lot of starters to be seen. So my number one question for the 49ers coming out of preseason game number 1 is, did I watch 2 starters in this game? Is Dominic Pooney a starter? Is it his spot to lose at right guard? Not so sure. That was one of my big questions coming into this game tonight. And the answer I got tonight was, I'm not so sure. John Feliciano may be the guy at this point playing against the Jets week 1, but he's battling a knee thing. Spencer Burford's got a broken hand that he's not getting surgery for. Those guys have to get on the field in order to play. But at this point, they may be better than Dominic Pooney week 1 against Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbricht's defense. But the good news is Pooney's going to have some reps this week, twice in practice against what should be a pretty damn good Saints defense, and then 2 more preseason games. He's still got time to get up to speed. He's got a shot. Wasn't bad. But I didn't watch it and think that he's stolen the right guard job away from 2 absentee candidates. And then the other part of that is, did I watch another starter at linebacker tonight? D. Winters. Is he going to take the job from Devondre Campbell? It's weird because he has more resistance to taking the job because Devondre Campbell's actually on the field. Devondre Campbell is the starter. We know that because he did not play tonight. Dominic Pooney, there's no resistance to taking the right guard job. The other 2 guys are not there. He's actually been starting for them in practices. Or at least running with the ones in practices. But I thought D. Winters was better at what he needed to do tonight, flying around, making plays, doing his Drake Greenlaw impression right down to the injury that he pops up from. But you just see a level of athleticism from him and speed that you don't see from Devondre Campbell in practice. But we've got another week next week and another game next weekend to see D. Winters again. But that's takeaway number 1. Did 2 starters play tonight? And it may be that Dominic Pooney's the early starter and that D. Winters isn't starting right away week 1. But in terms of long term, and to be fair to Pooney, D. Winters has a year on him. D. Winters was on this team last year. He's not a rookie. But I've been watching practice. D. Winters has looked good in practice. He's gotten everybody's attention in practice. This is going to be a popular opinion tonight. And through the weekend, and he continued it in the game, which is what you want to see. Takeaway number 2, the wide receiver depth chart is in tatters. It's going to be fine probably because wide receiver 1 and 2 and 3, Aiyuk, we'll put him aside for a second. But Debo and Jennings, I'd say right now there are 3 receivers on the 49ers roster that are in good standing. 1 is Debo, 2 is Jennings, 3 is Chris Conley. That's it. Trent Taylor's returning kicks, so maybe he's got an inside track to something. Ricky Pearsall, are we sure he's not going to start the year on IR? I'm not. Jacob Cowing, got to get him to a game. Ronnie Bell had a chance to make a play today, didn't. It's kind of the thing for the Niners' younger receivers over the last few years. This is a reoccurring theme. When their young receivers get chances to make plays, more often than not, they don't. I mean, Danny Gray was practicing in the blue jersey twice this week. I said a few times after minicamp, like, you know what? I'm opening the door back up to Danny Gray. There is a receiver job to take on this team. There are receiver reps to take on this team. What happened? The 2 practices this week when he was out there with the blue jersey, chances to make plays, didn't make them. Frank Darby made a catch and almost made a second catch. Okay. But, the Aiyuk thing is a separate. By the way, before I get to takeaway number 3, did you guys see the Jordan Schultz report the other day? I know you did because you guys are all locked in on this. Brandon Aiyuk had a sit-down meeting with Kyle Shanahan and others in the organization where some open and candid thoughts were expressed. Two sides have since restarted negotiations, long-term deal optimism, very fluid, blah, blah, blah. Some people came at me when I said they're going to have to sit down and have like an honest, open conversation. I said that on Thursday. I said it maybe Wednesday. I definitely said it Friday. People are like, hey, guy, they'll just sign the contract. Yeah, they'll sign the deal, but bam, there we go. So just chalk that up to Haberman knows what's going on and is paying attention. All right, anyway, I'll put Aiyuk in that thing. Reps missed for Ricky Pearsall. Too bad. Like, sad deal. Like, these are opportunities. And you got to be open-minded to the possibility that they have too many receivers for the spots they have, but not because people are performing really well. It's because no one's separating. The wide receiver group on this team right now, in the middle down, is frustrating. Like, Trent Taylor Trent Taylor, just by being solid and reliable, he's not going to back into a spot unless Pearsall or Cowan can start the year on IR, which might happen. Hell, they might both start the year on IR. But right now, you don't feel good about 2 of their 6 53-man spots being assigned to receivers being for rookies. So now that wasn't going to change tonight unless Ronnie Bell went out there and went off. And that's probably the only thing that could have happened tonight at the receiver position that mattered, because Pearsall wasn't playing. Cowing, going to, like, respectfully to Frank Darby and Tay Martin, like, they're not going to be among those top 6. So the only thing that really could have happened tonight from a receiver standpoint was, Ronnie Bell going out there and making a bunch of plays. But when given the chance to make a play, he did not. Takeaway number 3. Yeah, both QBs doing what they're supposed to do. Like, QB competition, Brandon Allen came in as number 2. Didn't do anything to lose it. Operated the offense. Dobbs, solid. So that's not there's not a lot really to say there, but that's a competition. Takeaway number, where am I at? 4. Malik Mustafa represents a type. The Niners went older in this draft. They need some athleticism, kind of some dudes that are going to run around and try and make a few plays. Dobbs just took a bad sack. Mustafa's that guy. I mean, a big stop on 4th down. This time of year for these guys, it's about flashing here and there. You expect they're going to get tricked on a couple plays. You get caught up looking in the backfield, and he should have got beat for a big play, but the rookie tight end for Tennessee didn't get both feet in bounds. But Mustafa was eyes in the wrong place and got smoked, I guess isn't the word, but made a big mistake. But, I mean, I kind of expect that first preseason game. I just want to see a guy running around hitting, playing like their style of defense. They've been plagued at times with rookies that look like the bright lights are too bright over the last several years, where you watch a guy and you just go, he's not ready for this. Forget about knowing the X's and O's. That takes time, but just being ready to step out there and compete and trust his instincts. And I think you got to be pretty optimistic about Malik Mustafa after watching tonight, because he just looks like a guy ready for a moment. He's going to make some mistakes, but D Winters, like you watch D Winters, you go, that's a guy ready for a moment. This team desperately needs. If I sound agitated today, it's because I've watched a lot of B and C team football this week, like in practice and now this game. This team desperately needs to hit on some of these draft picks, and not just like re-sign Brandon Aiyuk. So you've resigned, 2 first-round picks finally, Bosa being one and Aiyuk being the other, but just like depth. I went through it a month ago. One of the reasons, not the reason, the Chiefs have been able to kind of keep themselves as a Super Bowl favorite. Go look at their drafts. Their second-round picks, their third-round picks, they're getting a ton of depth out of their drafts. And the Niners, have not. So, this wasn't a night we weren't going to turn it on and go like, oh, look at the edge rushers. Although it's clear behind Bosa and what I want to say, Randy Gregory. Behind Bosa and what's my guy? Where's my Leonard Floyd? Sorry, not impressive. He's fine. I'm not impressive on that. Behind Bosa and Leonard Floyd, not a ton there. Pay Trent Williams ASAP. Yeah, I mean that's probably one of the ongoing takeaways from practice and from the game. Got to protect, especially no McCaffrey, no Mitchell, Mason and Schrader. I mean, it'll both run well enough that it just comes down to picking up pressure. Schrader got the rookie, not the drafted rookie. Isaac Guerrero was hurt, but the undrafted rookie. I thought for those of you who haven't been to practice, in terms of how he ran, it was good to see that the way he ran when they can tackle him looked like the way he ran in practice. Runs hard, does create space, looks good, catches the ball, very natural at it. Was put in some really tough spots in terms of pressure, picking up blitzes, and was put in some spots where he had to choose from multiple guys who were coming unblocked. And, I thought held up well on an interior pass rush. Had one where a free rusher came off the edge. He picked the middle rusher who also got chipped by an offensive lineman. That meant the edge rusher came free. But, I think all in all, he looked like it's not moving too quickly for him. But what is paramount with these guys is going to be protecting Purdy. Because behind him, they just, hopefully J.J. McCarthy's playing well if something happens to Brock Purdy, and they can just trade for Sam Darnold. The first hopefully nothing happens to Brock Purdy because it's just not going to be good enough behind him. Takeaway number, that was 4, Mason and Schrader. Optimistic. And takeaway number 6, special teams. Special teams. A tradition unlike any other. First dynamic kickoff return goes for 61 against the Niners. Then a punt return went for 25? At one point, the Titans had more kickoff return yardage, 26, had more kickoff return yardage than either offense, and the Niners had the ball twice. So let's keep an eye on that. What was the problem? I've been watching a lot of these dynamic kickoff returns, and I said, was that the worst coverage group of the preseason's week 1 so far? And somebody immediately tweeted at me, well, actually, the Chiefs just gave up like a 70-yarder. All right, they just paid Harrison Butker. I don't know if Butker was kicking off or not. But what I think one part of that cover, the first kickoff return for the Niners that was bad, one part of the kickoff return was the kick. The kick's a big part of it. And it was just like a regular kick right to the goal line. Dude had to the 2. Dude lined up, had his little momentum going. Now, maybe the Niners don't want to show something on the kick, but I do think you need to just practice your kicks. Everyone kind of knows what you're going to do. All these teams are trying the same stuff. You're going to try liners. You're going to try get it skipping, all that kind of stuff. So I would get my kicker. I'd get Moody kind of warmed up on it. I don't want these guys lining up vanilla kickoff returns. Moody's out here making tackles and special teams. No, thank you. None of that, please. So I'd say my thing is no. I think you should actually try the real kickoff returns now. I get not wanting to show your offense. Kyle Shanahan didn't even call plays today. I get not wanting to show too much on defense. Fine. On kickoff return, show it. All right. The more you show, the better. So you're not giving away, they're going to know what we're trying to do. Good. Their special teams coach has way too much time on his hands, just like yours does. So you show them what you're going to do, some liner kicks, whatever I don't even know what they're going to do. I mean, I actually have an idea. Yes, they're going to do these. They're going to try and kick these balls that bounce inside the 20, right? Because it doesn't get to the 20 on the fly. Then it comes out to the 40. It's a penalty. So you can try and bounce it in there and make it hard to pick it up. Do that stuff now. Let Moody get used to it now. Don't keep your coverage teams. You want to keep your returns vanilla? Fine. Do not keep your coverage teams vanilla. Don't try it out you're not good enough to just try it out for the first time against the Jets week 1. It's all you need. We'll see. I mean, the defense, This will be an interesting week for them against the Saints. Just because Niners, how many starters are going to practice this coming week? Not a lot did this week, partly because dudes are hurt, but it'll be a big week for them. This is an important week for them when they get a couple joint practices with the Saints at the end of the week. Drew, so there's some takeaways there. Before I'll get to some of your comments in a second. As I've been saying after watching practice, I think most people would agree. I'm not on some limb here. Eric Saubert is clearly tight end too. He can block. The Logan Thomas got cut the other day. It was apparent, like immediately. It's actually this thing's not going to work, and it didn't, and they moved on, and great. Looking through my notes here. But yeah, those I hit the main headlines. If you're listening to this, but Sunday, I don't know. I'm tempted. We got a Garoppolo. Is Garoppolo playing? Trey Lance, Cowboys, Rams. Might be a game worth watching on Sunday. If you're listening to this before Sunday. Tough L for Raiders today. I know I said it earlier. Just one of my overarching kind of takeaways today. On special teams, just to finish the point on weird things. The Steelers put John Rice Plumlee out there on kickoff return this week. John Rice Plumlee is a quarterback. I think he's their quarterback 4. So teams are trying different stuff. He was at University of Central Florida last year. So teams are trying weird stuff. So just show them the real stuff. They'll spend too much time on it. Try it out. I'm telling you, Caleb Williams I thought he looked beyond good. He looked sweet. Another catch for Trent Taylor. Might just make the team for just showing up and catching the football and being trustworthy on kickoff return. I mean, that might just be enough. All right, question here from Drew. I only saw parts of it. Why are you down on Pooney? I'm not. Down on Pooney is not how I would phrase it, although I know that's how it comes off. He looked lost a few times. I'm not some O-line. I'd bring Jeff Schwartz in for this. Looked high a few times. Got shoved into the end zone trying to come out of the end zone. On the touchdown, he got credit for pushing the runner into the end zone. Didn't do much when he pulled. So it's not that I'm down on him. It's just he still might be the starting right guard, but need to see a little more here. Before, but just put it this way. After watching week 1, it does matter when Spencer Burford or John Feliciano is ready to go. I don't think they're comfortable just handing it off and not just passing those guys up. Jason says, Pooney's already the second best lineman behind Trent. I would not say that. I would not say that. I would say the second best lineman right now is at least healthy-ish. I would say the second best lineman right now is Jalen Moore. Hell, you might want him to play right tackle if and when Trent comes back. Hell, he might have to play left tackle. Bethune looked better than Winters. That's a comment. I mean, by the time you get to the end of the game, like Winters is out there not playing against the starters, but Winters has looked really good in practice. He continued to look that way. Today, Saturday. So, yeah. So we're on Aiyuk watch, and we're on starter watch. I mean, this week, like, let's. I don't know who you're really gonna, Actually, this is a good opportunity. I talked about the receiver depth chart. What's really out there the next 2 weeks? What really, really matters? Like, okay, a few things moving forward. I'd like to see Isaac Yiadom back. Right? To me, he's sealed up the other corner spot. Just Renardo Green's not ready for that. Rock Ya-Sin, physical guy. Ambry might be on the outside looking in. Ambry Thomas. But I just like to see him healthy, so you want to get Isaac Yiadom healthy and just know you're going into the season with a really good cornerback group. Can D Winters take Devondre Campbell's job before the season, or is Devondre Campbell going to be he's kind of penciled in, like penned in right now to at least get the week 1 start? Right guard, big question. The depth chart of the receiver group, I mentioned it. It's significant, but no one here is going to suddenly look like a stud. Shouldn't say that. No one here is going to suddenly look like something more than we already know. There's not any big question marks. The big question is, can Ricky Pearsall get healthy and get on the field before week 1? Right. So, I mean, that's the other big question mark there. Question tight end 2 is not a question mark. Backup quarterback. Yeah, it's a battle, but it's clear if something were to happen to Brock, they got a problem. And then can they get good at kickoff return coverage or passable? Can they not be bad at it? Can they not be bad at it? Question: At what point in the BA? At what point, if the BA issue continues, do you start moving on from him in the game plan for week 1 against the Jets? You don't. I mean, you don't. You gotta get him. That you just guys are learning. Nothing changes, I guess is what I'm saying. Max on the chat says 49ers looking mid. I know. I agree. I've been watching them in practice. It's been uninspiring, but you have to remember it's this is not their team. Now, in the big picture, what about do they have some rookies that can fill in some depth moving forward, that sort of thing? But this is not what you watch tonight is not the team that is trying to win a Super Bowl. That's not the group. So we got a month before we're going to see that group of players. That wasn't it. Right. Like their practices this week against the Saints, they'll take them seriously. The game, I don't know. But comment from Andrew, Fortenbaugh is right. The window is closed. Oh my gosh. A Fortenbaugh drop. Let's get that guy on the show then. A team with little depth at O-line and D-line, full of injury-prone players destined for mediocrity. In terms of the window's as open as your quarterback is good. So if it turns out Brock Purdy's an MVP candidate again this year, then the window's still open. Rome says last year's practices were very uninspiring. Yeah. I mean, I'm not coming out of here even thinking about, this is not a Super Bowl conversation. This is a depth. What happens if there's injuries? Do they have some guys lined up for 25? Here's a comment from somebody that says Pooney looked great. I'll check on Chris Forster's review of that game because we have some disagreement here on that. This is not a Super Bowl conference. This is a depth, and do they have this team? They have some stuff in this roster when it comes to getting the replacing some guys in 25. What are they going to do? Is safety a position where they can kind of cycle out in 2025 and 2026? Is Malik Mustafa going to be able to be a starting safety in the NFL if Jair Brown doesn't take another step, or Talanoa Hufanga doesn't come back at 100%? That sort of thing. Not getting to see Ricky Pearsall is just, really disappointing. I mean, it's not just that it's disappointing. Like, that is something that's happening right now that you got to put a red flag on. You just got to put a red flag on it, Butter Nutter says, I don't know about great, but Pooney looked okay. He didn't have to look great tonight. I didn't think he looked great tonight. I came out here with some questions about whether he could be their right guard right now, but that's okay. That was his first preseason game. He's got some time, a little time. Liam says, I really like Sorensen's scheme. I mean, that'll be, when you start thinking like really things that matter week 1, is Aiyuk back? Is Trent Williams back? What does Nick Sorensen's defense look like? That may be, it's kind of I got a text from Ethan Strauss this week about the defense, and I won't tell you everything he said because I might do it as a topic later. But the defense is really like the Chiefs last year. What was their greatest? They got Andy, they got Mahomes, and they had a legit defense. Can this be a top 3 defense? It won't be with this group. Silicon Valley man. Dobbs QB2. Didn't Maybe. I mean, I got no separation in that competition. And I think because he's been there, they lean with, I would put it this way. Dobbs has to take it from Brandon Allen. I think ties go to Brandon Allen. Unless they just keep all three of them. Comment, Mustafa's a better tackler than Huff. He already made a Greenlaw type play in the goal line stand. Yeah, I mean, here's what I know about Hufanga. He may sometimes get there a millisecond late in some spots, but his instincts are incredible. Now, I think Mustafa looks like he's got a pretty good idea what's going on when he plays with instincts, but he got tricked a couple times today. So, yeah. Run D is terrible, WTF. I mean, look, we'll see if it's fixed. Tonight's not the night that we're answering that question. All right. This is not the game that we're answering that question. All right. Folks, I got to tell you that I'm brought to you by, actually, I got to tell you something else. Brought to you by the biggest pro football contest in Vegas, CIRCA Survivor and CIRCA Million, up to $16 million in guaranteed prizes, $6 million in guaranteed prizes in the CIRCA Million contest. That's $1,000 an entry. You pick 5 games against the spread every week. Winner takes home $1 million. There's quarterly prizes, there's season-long prizes, and last place gets $100,000. There's also CIRCA Survivor, which is $10 million guaranteed to the winner or winners. That's when you pick 1 game a week, not against the spread. You try to go whoever goes undefeated the longest wins. And if there's a tie, you split it. Last year, 4 winners split $9.2 million. That was $2.3 million each. The pot's bigger this year at $10 million. To sign up, both are $1,000 to enter. You can enter Nevada at CIRCA Sports in Vegas or in Reno. Play from anywhere. They get you signed up with a proxy there. That's how you play from anywhere. Visit circasports.com and click on contest. Circasports.com, click on contest. Also very exciting. Check out heyguy.co or scan the QR code up in the corner. Heyguy.co. You can send me a message there, as many of you have, so that's been great. Click the box so you sign up for marketing, air quotes. Just make sure that you're on the mailing list when hats go on sale. I'm getting the what should be the final version of the Hey Guy hats and the 262 hats. It's going to be a little different than this. These are all samples back here that we didn't end up going with. But I'm getting those hats from my guy Steve this week. We'll be photographing them, putting them up on the site. As soon as that happens and they're ready for sale, you will get a email notification of that if you sign up. So go check out heyguy.co. All right. I mean, that's what we got tonight, people. Okay, preseason game number 1. Number 20 was the worst Niner. Now he's hurt. Yeah, I don't know if he was making the team anyway. No Tanner Mordecai. Oh, maybe he'll get his chance later. All right. That's what I got for you guys on a Saturday night. That's a quickie. Week 1, Jets. We'll have a little more. But for now, thanks for being here. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Podcast 5-star review. A lot of promotion here at the end of the podcast. Sorry about that, but whatever. It's free.